Hey everyone, my name is Marissa and this is my divination channel. I am super excited to be offering you guys these readings today, and I just want to preface with a little bit about me. I am here at this time to help assist the planet with the ascension process and individual as well as collective awakenings, understanding the true nature of karma, the true nature of the spiritual journey, and aligning with the soul's blueprint in order to experience the most amount of fulfillment and peace and happiness possible within each incarnation. And so my intention within every reading, I go in and I connect with the guides and the overseers of those beings that will be drawn to each pile. And also when I'm doing personal readings, that's my intention. I connect individually with the higher selves and the team that is helping assist the individual step into and achieve their highest destiny possible. Okay, so these aren't like random spirits I'm connecting with, and I set very firm boundaries in terms of the beings that are able to influence the readings. Okay, so the intention is always to assist you guys with your highest timeline and to cut out the rest, cut out the bullshit, right? And so most of the time, tarot is just confirming what it is that we already know to be true and our deepest desires and our deepest callings. It should never really be telling you anything new about yourself per se. And it's always, the most important thing is always to follow your own judgment and your own intuition above anything else, right? Your own experience trumps what anyone else has to say to you about how life is and what you should or should not be doing, okay? So that was just a little disclaimer. These readings today are all about what you are currently ready to release, okay? The more space we open up, the greater room there is for grace and for newness to come into our life, more relevant things, more relevant reflections to the person that we have become energetically. So you have four hanged men to choose from. That sounds so funny. And if you need to, sometimes a random number generator can really help. Just go to like randomnumbergenerator.com. It's my favorite. And whenever you guys are feeling ready, we're going to hop right into these readings. Hi, group number one. If you guys chose the Light Seers Tarot Hanged Man, this is your reading. I've already reshuffled the Hanged Man back into the deck, and I haven't looked at your guys' cards yet. So we're going to get into it together real time. What is it that you're ready to release? I'm going to start with these. She-Wolf, unleash the wild within. Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. Okay, already I'm sensing that a big part of what you guys are ready to release is questioning yourself, all right? Self-doubt, feeling like you owe anyone an apology about who you are and who you came here to be. You're releasing this sense of imposter syndrome from your field and feeling that other people know better than you, know more than you. There's a sense of deep empowerment and deep trust of the divine feminine energy that I'm sensing here. There's a need to release judgment about yourself and the things that you've done when you were operating under certain levels of consciousness. So, for example, when you look back and, those moments that you can tend to feel bad or guilty or shameful or embarrassed even about things that you've done to people, versions of yourself that you were, there's a sense of that inhibiting your path and inhibiting the amount of joy that you are able to be experiencing in this moment, okay? You're releasing this idea that other people know more than you, and you're taking, I'm getting this sense of like a need to step beyond like ideas of what is possible. Like the longer that I'm on this planet, and just like this age of Aquarius just really does show us that we don't know shit. Like I don't even like this planet, man. There's so much that happens, right? There's so much that happens, outside of our framework of what we think is possible, and we continue to reinforce through expectations. And so there's a need of like releasing expectations and releasing what other people, the narratives that other people would like to try to reinforce over and over again, because I'm just getting the sense that you probably see beyond what many other people are able to. And yeah, I feel like there's almost like, well, if everyone else isn't on board with this, then how true is this really? But that's your inner knowing. That's your higher self. That is your connection to spirit, your intuition, okay? You have a very strong connection to your intuition and to your guides and your higher self. And there's freer ways to be living and freer ways to be existing. And releasing those blockages through meditation, contemplation, concentration, and, doing your best to not reinforce old ways of thinking, right? And continuing to purge your field from how other people would like to convince you that life is, like people just feel safe when other people are on board with their framework of how life is. And, people don't like having to question those things. Okay. So there's a lot here about just honoring your highest intuition and continuing to remember that at the end of the day that we don't know shit, and if you're being guided towards a certain direction or a certain modality of healing, reminding yourself that anything is possible. Nothing is written in stone. Even on this very dense seeming planet, there's so much more that goes, that is left unsaid. And I feel like a lot of people really understood what is actually happening in different people's paradigms just based off of their belief systems and what they think is possible. It would really shatter their framework into a new level of freedom. Okay. So that was a rant, but it was a necessary one. Okay. So what it is that you're, ready to release. Let's see. Yeah, there's more of that blockage with this higher power, unleashing the wild within, honor your inner knowing. You guys have a very strong connection to your divine self. Fork in the road. Yeah, okay, let me just get a little bit more. You're not alone. Show appreciation. So there's a lot here about your connections to your guides. And yeah, I feel like there might be within your narrative, there might be part of you that feels like you're always meant to be alone, or that you're not. There might be a sense of loneliness, okay, that you guys have been feeling like people don't understand you. And I'm hearing that there is with this fork in the road and financial and material changes, I really am hearing that there is maybe something like a change that you've been wanting to make, that you've been intuiting for some time, that your guides have been sending you many signs and synchronicities about, and maybe you have been consistently denying it. It could be a person. This could just mean too that it's just an awakening of your heart that you're kind of denying because, again, there's that sense of I'm just getting this sense of you guys are believing in these doubts and these lower thought forms and these lower states of energy, and you guys are so much beyond it, but you're believing in a paradigm and you're existing within a paradigm that you've far outgrown. Okay. And your intuition has been trying to move you in a certain direction, to move you in a different direction, but it's you doubt it. There's a strong undercurrent of doubt and trusting yourself and in deeply feeling and understanding that everything is not as it seems. That's the biggest thing. Everything is not as it seems. And the more that you try to, it's these doubts are trying to convince you that, yes, this is how it is. And, the thing about spirit and honoring your intuition and following the path of the heart, it's not logical. It doesn't make sense. And I feel like there's a part of you guys that a big part of this reading is all about, anything is possible. Okay. And I know that sounds spirituality can sometimes be very ungrounded, and I get it. This is coming from someone who has a lot of earth. So I'm very practical, but also I have seen things in life that is just in my own life and other people's life that just does not make sense. It does not make sense. It does not it cannot be filtered through the rational mind. And the heart knows, the heart knows, the spiritual self knows. It's 3D rules do not apply. It doesn't work the same when you're on this spiritual journey and when you're operating from this expanded lens of perception that you guys are operating. That's in the mystics, the sages, people in India, this is where cities, the spiritual powers are developed, things that would seem very magical to most people is very normal when you're achieving higher and higher states of consciousness, right? Being able to teleport and astral project and, you know, move objects from a different part of the planet or a different room, you know, things like that we're like, you know, it's not possible, or think is like, I don't know, like there's like, we just have such a misbelief and mistrust in magic. And I think I see that you have a deep mistrust in magic and a deep mistrust, and, you know, being able to follow your heart and have it lead you somewhere that is worth being, right? And I feel like, I feel like you guys might feel like unappreciated, or like, just like people don't get you, or you want to connect more with people that are living within these realms of anything is possible. And it's like, I'm getting a sense of feeling tired about what you've been seeing and the environment that you've been in, and feeling undervalued by people around you, and just like really misunderstood. And I do feel like there is newness that's wanting to be birthed. And so, you know, just be aware that these belief systems can tend to get a bit more like overwhelming and a bit more like convincing. It gets stronger. Those attacks, those psychic attacks almost become so much more strong, much stronger before we're about to break through them and break beyond them. Okay. And so I feel like you're ready to release this kind of back and forth, and feeling like you don't know which direction to go, and just like honoring it, you know, like, you know, have that beginner's mindset. Like, you know, don't take anyone's word for it, but trust yourself. You know, don't question yourself, question everything else around you and everyone else around you that would like to convince you that life is a certain way, and trust yourself to be guided, right? Because I feel like, it's like, what are you choosing when you reach forks in the road? Are you choosing things that, you know, is just reinforcing this old way of being that is like kind of lackluster? Or are you following your higher guidance, right? So what else does this have to do with? What is pile 1 ready to release, please? What is pile 1 ready to release? What is pile 1 ready to release, please? Yeah, there's a lot here about walking away from things that just like don't serve you. And you have 2 Knight cards. So, you know, the Knight cards are, I am just noticing, like, with all of these, you know, there's a certain specific like age group that's coming through here. So like people in their like mid 20s to like mid 30s, doesn't have to be. There's a lot here about going within and figuring out what, like, just choosing a different path internally. Man, like there's so much here, like there's so much here about belief systems, okay? And like not bringing the past with you, you know, and your new directions. And I feel like there's a big influence here of past, like echoes from your past is a really big theme that I just noticed is coming up in the collective in general. So things like you're feeling haunted, right? There's like things that have happened in your past that have haunted you when you like should have gone left and you went right, that kind of thing, like should, could, would. And there's a need to release these things because it's really inhibiting your ability to like put that to bed, put that to rest. I mean, we have this, as long as we have like these narratives attached to these old versions of self, it kind of reinforces these things. It's just fucking energy that's trying to move through. And by reinforcing the narrative, you're reinforcing the karma. So there's a lot of like spiritual work that's happening here. I know this is like, this won't seem practical to some people, but I'm trusting that if you are guided here today, that you are like in the most like real sense, you are a mystic, you are a light worker, you are someone that deeply understands the spiritual journey and the spiritual realms. And so I'm here to tell you there's a lot of like psychic debris in your field, okay? A lot of things, heartbreak, betrayals, feeling like you can't trust yourself, or like being hard on yourself for decisions that you made, like going against your better judgment is a really big theme here, okay? And so like those things that happened in your past, that psychic debris is like currently inhibiting new directions and inhibiting how much peace you're able to experience in this moment, okay? And it's about just like fucking unleashing it. Like it is what the fuck it is, you know? And you were a different person then, literally a different version of yourself then. And so now it's time to just like, with this unleash the wild within, it's time to just like let it the fuck go. You know, I just feel like I'm feeling a sense of just feeling like a tight jacket around me. Like I want freedom. It feels like pile 1 wants greater freedom, greater love. You could even be moving in a really good direction, but just feeling like, you know, this past energy just like won't let you be able to appreciate what is actually in front of you, because there's so much of this carrying the past with you now. There's like a lot of quick energy that wants to move. Again, I feel like, you know, just for confirmation, again, I just wanted to reiterate, you could be between the ages of like 25 and 35 and maybe really feeling like, you know, you aren't where you're supposed to be or something. And, you know, there's a lot that you have just been clearing. You know, it's like, where are we supposed to go? Like, where are you trying to get to? You know, there's nowhere to get to. It's just here. It's just now, you know? And so this is really saying to take time. And, you know, when we don't allow this energy, these echoes from the past to process, they get stored in the subconscious. And so the more light you welcome into your life, the more heart activations you go through, the more light you welcome in, the more darkness is exposed. Okay. And so it might be feeling like very heavy at this time, and you might be like, what the hell? Like, why? Like, I feel like I've been moving in a pretty good direction, but it's like, you're ready to release all of these old debris, all of this old energetic psychic debris that's been carried in your field that you didn't have the capacity then to process it. And so you're at a place and that now where you can process this stuff, and it's gonna, you know, the more present you are and you're not resisting it, it's going to go through really fast. Like you're going to burn that shit up super fast. Okay. And it might seem like just when you're catching your breath, like something else comes up, another past anxiety or another past doubt or another past like moment that you're shameful of, or something that you did that is kind of like haunting you today, is kind of what I'm getting. Okay. And so it's just coming to the surface. It's just coming up to be burned up. It doesn't mean, you know, you're going to create it. It doesn't mean that you are, it doesn't mean anything. Okay. And as much as you can, go into your hermit mode, like take space. You know, the thing about mystics is we understand this can be a very excruciating journey, but you know, that's part of your purpose. It's part of your blueprint. Because you're doing the work not just for yourself, but you're feeling the weight of the planet when you clear these types of stuff, because a lot of people can't integrate it. And so you have within your codes that I'm seeing, you are kind of like a transmuter. What the planet can't transmute, you kind of take on that karma, you know, you eat it up. You eat the karma of the planet. And so it can feel very, very, very heavy and debilitating for you, because not only are you super sensitive, pile number 1, but you're super sensitive, and you're also being able to feel into the amount of darkness and heaviness and distortion that is in regards to whatever it is that you're clearing. You know, the more intense your experience is, the more sure you can be that many other people have a lot of confusion around that thing on this planet. And there's a lot of confusion and a lot of darkness around how things work, how things really operate on this planet. And so you are here to kind of like break through that. You are here to be the way shower. Don't, you know, don't be taking advice from other people. Don't even take it from me, you know, because you have a really good connection to spirit. And right now you could be feeling like, why am I going through this? I feel like, you know, it's that Father, why have you forsaken me? But it's coming up to be cleared and officially released. Take this as a good sign is what I'm hearing. Okay. So pile number 1, I'm going to leave this here for now. I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to your heart today. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, comment anything down below. It really helps people receive these healing messages if and when they need them. And I do hope to see you on my channel again soon. Much love. Hi, group number 2. If you guys chose the Wild Unknown Tarot Hanged Man, this is your reading. I already reshuffled the card back in here. And yeah, we're going to do this real time together. Okay. So what is it that you are ready to release? We're going to start with these cards. We have Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. All right, so already it's like a sense of clearing ancestral karma, okay? Follow the voice of your soul. So maybe there's outdated belief systems and old ways of being that you adopted from your upbringing that just don't serve you, all right? And yeah, moving beyond those patternings. You guys had an extra card come up. You had one more. You had 3 of these cards come up. Transformation. So there's a death cycle happening. Solar plexus chakra, reclaiming your power, your individuality. Yeah, there's a lot here about following your highest intuition. There might be a big part of this is releasing judgment from other people, releasing what you think that your family is going to think if you make a certain decision, or just in general, just like, you know, my pile number 2s might be a little bit quirky, or just like be a bit, you know, if you're drawn to my channel, you're probably just like see things a lot differently than most people. And there's a need to just like be free, you know, be free and who it is that you came here to be. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's going to speak volumes. Even if people's minds can't understand something, their spirit, their auric field will be able to pick up on the amount of brightness and the amount of freedom that you're experiencing. And that's going to speak for itself. Okay. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, words are fucking words. Ideas are just ideas. And, you know, these are just gateways into certain experiences, right? Words and language is a gateway into just different ways of perceiving the world, right? But at the end of the day, it just comes down to like freedom, right? And perception, these narratives, right? It's like spell casting, right? Isn't it interesting that it's called spelling? You know, language is called spelling. We're like casting spells, you know, and just like cursive, writing in cursive, like curses. I don't know. It's all very interesting. And so just the narrative that you tell really is super important here. And I feel like, just doing you above anything else and letting other people, whatever, if they're operating under certain limitations, you know, that's not your problem. Okay. Heart chakra. Yeah. Trusting yourself. There might be what you're ready to release are blockages in particular in the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. Okay. You're being prepared to go through transformations on these levels if you could lean into it. Okay. So maybe the heart has closed down from things that happen in your upbringing, like bullying, people misunderstanding you, traumatic events that happened within your family lineage. I feel like, you know, with a star ancestor card, this just tells me that you guys are more advanced souls, more advanced beings. You could even resonate with being a starseed, and you came here to transform many of the deeply ingrained, outdated systems of belief on the planet. Okay, so naturally, these are beings that are drawn to this type of pile. The people that are drawn to this pile are types of people that just already came in the world with a very open auric field and a very expanded lens of perception. So you guys probably understood from a young age, you guys were already questioning things, the way that people saw life, the way that your family conducted themselves, the beliefs that they had. It didn't really make sense to you, right? And that's part of what you're, you know, here to transform. And so just having confidence, more confidence in your ability to guide yourself and to trust yourself and to surrender to the voice of your soul, right? Okay, so what is it that pile 2 is releasing? Why? Yeah, you asked a lot of questions. Right? You asked a lot of questions growing up, and I feel like you have consistently been studying and exploring other ways of seeing things, and probably really drawn to like the esoteric realms and the mystical realms and philosophy and spirituality. And so you've developed this like very strong framework that kind of helped you make sense of the codes that you were experiencing. There were other people that came before you that also explored things and that were able to help you make sense of your unique soul's blueprint and your unique soul's mission. And so I'm hearing part of it is now taking that, assimilating that, and making it your own. And, you know, leaning on those things when the weight of the world and the density of the planet and how like freaking, I don't know, like dense people see things and just limiting people see things, when the weight of the world's perception, the average levels of consciousness start to weigh down on you, I'm hearing that's when it's useful to turn to books and turn to the teachers that have come before you, but not to rely on it, okay? Because you have a really unique access to your own soul stream, and sometimes reading too much about how other people see things can create a barrier around our own levels of consciousness and our own levels of like authenticity and different messages coming through, again, because it's like you're solidifying yourself in a certain like frequential bandwidth. And so more authentic and just like streamlined and even just like higher wisdom, you know, than your own teachers could come through. But it's like learning how to trust that, you know, that confidence to trust what is coming through you is really important. Yeah. Being flexible with your belief systems, being flexible with, just like not getting so fixed is what I'm getting. Consistently staying in this mindset of anything is possible, like asking questions. Anything is possible. All right. Sorry, I had a little bit of an interruption, but here we go. We're going to continue what it is that you are ready to release. We have friendship and we have trust. Okay, yeah, there's a lot here about trust, and I feel like this friendship and the heart chakra go hand in hand, and I feel like the trust and the solar plexus go hand in hand. So I feel like, again, just from some woundings and things that happened in your early incarnation, I feel like that might be blocking your ability to have more heartfelt connections, okay? And trusting people in your life to be able to, like meet you where you're at, I guess. And like trusting humans in general is just what I'm getting. Being able to trust humans and trust your process of transformation, trusting yourself. Okay, we have follow the voice of your soul, solar plexus, and trust. And so I feel like maybe in general, you tend to question yourself a lot or not go towards those things and those ideas that feel really exciting. Maybe when you maybe you're not the first person to reach out to someone, and maybe this is saying that I really don't ever think that there's anything that we're missing out on, right? That we could ever do anything wrong. However, I do feel that if you guys have been wanting more heartfelt connections, then, to investigate those areas of yourself that are still inhibiting that. Maybe it's you not reaching out. Maybe it's you not taking the time to build that foundation, or having expectations of something. What I mean by that, having expectations of something that might not be fitting where your current paradigm is at, is when you've been through trauma and things in your early incarnation, you learn a distorted way of love, and that love feels like adrenaline, and love feels like, there's a certain degree of toxicity that's involved with it. And so we just develop these weird relationships. If it doesn't hurt, if it doesn't feel like, I'm questioning myself, and if it feels like I'm, have to put on a show or please this other person, then, it's not really love. And so it's important that you're very conscientious of these narratives that you have attached to these things, and understanding when I started inviting more healthy relationships in, there wasn't that adrenaline in the beginning, or that, sense of anxiety. In some cases it almost felt boring, but that boredom was because it was just actually safe, and the more that I just, continue to follow what felt right, not what felt familiar, but what felt right, which was kind of unfamiliar, the more that those foundations, that foundation, a healthy foundation, was able to be laid. And so now the friendships in my life really reflect this new version of myself that, I feel like I'm very proud to be, and feeling so comfortable in myself, but going from a place of feeling not like that at all, feeling very not confident in my own skin, and clearing a lot of my own ancestral karma. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot here about questioning, again, questioning what you think you're worthy of, and the areas that you have settled. Okay, settled for certain things. So what else does this have to do with? What is pile 2 ready to release, please? This could even be saying that there's certain friendships that don't reflect. It's there's certain things in your life, people, maybe situations that don't currently reflect the new version of yourself, and it's time to let those go. Right? It might be time to take a pause from certain things to really assess, okay, why, what is it about this person? Do I actually feel good? Do I actually feel like I'm nourished as well? Does it actually feel like, it's both people meeting in a mature space, in a healthy space, in a safe space to really show up authentically? Or does it feel like I kind of need to prove myself? Or does it feel like there's weird games being played and one-upmanship, being really conscientious of that and knowing when it's time to cut those things out? Okay, because there's I don't know, a transformation that is either currently happening or wanting to happen. And we can actually speed up our process of transformation when we're leaning into it versus resisting it. Yeah, we have the 6 of Cups, which does, kind of reiterate the sense of people that are currently in your life. This, again, again reiterates the childhood wounding and just maybe feeling bullied by people growing up. We have the Knight of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the King of Swords. Let me tune into these really quickly. Yeah, I feel like this is saying that you are reaching a pivotal point in your incarnation, in your lifetime. And so things are getting ready to change very quickly for you. And I feel like if you're trying to hold on to those old things, it's like one of those things, like when we're going through our Saturn returns, you know, like Saturn is trying to clear the stuff from our field that just doesn't really align with our soul's blueprint and who it is that we came here to be. And when you resist that and you're trying to like hold on for dear life to like what things are, you know, and how it's been, it's like that's when you'll end up like resisting your process, and 10 years later you're like, why did I stay in this thing? Like, why did I stay in this friendship, this relationship that I've known for so long was not for me, and it was like a reflection of just like past toxicity, you know? And so this is really about honoring the change that's trying to happen, because it's going to be happening fast for you. There's so much here about you know, new relationships coming into your life, new opportunities to solidify a new version of yourself. And it might feel scary. It might just feel different. Okay. So as you're restoring your nervous system, you're really learning the difference between past trauma and just like intuition slash, you know, expanding beyond your comfort zone. Right. And so that is a process. You're going to have to be okay with that process of transformation, and maybe making mistakes and starting anew and having a beginner's mindset and having grace for yourself, you know, but just ultimately believing and trusting that good things are going to happen for you. Good things can happen for you when you've been through this type of heaviness and this type of like, when you're taking on the degree of karma I can sense in your field that you have chosen to take on in this lifetime. Like, you can be left with a very confused sense of self, right? A very lost sense of self, and almost wonder if good things are really meant for you. And it's like, yes, they are. And it's only the strongest souls that take on the heaviest karma. Okay. And so this is about having trust, having faith, and doing your best to remain still, like not letting your ideas kind of overwhelm you during this process of transformation. Because again, that's part of slowing down the process. That's part of, you know, that, again, that energy of resisting what is new is when you're trying to make sense of it before you're able to, right? Like, why is this happening? You know, but just instead just going with the flow of things. You know, it's only the branches and the trees that have become rigid and dry that end up like cracking under pressure. But it's those branches that are in those trees, right? Those trunks that are stable, they're nourished, you know, they're connected with the life force of, you know, of source, that end up being able to withstand the greatest changes. Okay. And so there's a lot, what you're ready to release, again, is a sense of questioning yourself, feeling like other people know better than you, feeling like you need to prove something to anyone, maybe even current relationships that are in your life, trusting those things that you have known for a while, you're supposed to let go of. But for whatever reason, it's like, oh, this person's been in my life for so long. You know, it's like, again, it's all comes down to narratives, these ideas that we have around certain things, when it's like so constricting for the soul, you know, from the lens of the higher self, we just go on and play forever and ever. And it's like this life and the next life. And so it's like, we don't have to become so rigid and take things so personally. We don't control these things from this level, you know, but we're answering the call of our soul. Your soul is calling you into a new direction. And some of these changes are going to happen, like whether you like it or not. And it's like, you can enjoy it. You can really flow with the process and have fun in doing so, or you can like drag your feet in. But I'm seeing, hopefully, because you were guided to this reading, you'll recognize those big changes that are happening in the realms of your relationships and the realms of, you know, your self-confidence, speaking up for yourself, you know, honoring the wisdom that comes through you. And you'll lean into it, and you'll be more vocal. You'll be much more owning of yourself and understanding that, you know, when you are a being that just sees more than other people, it's like, you can't expect those people to like be able to agree with you. You know, it's like, yeah, it's a compliment in this day and age to be called crazy, you know, for people to not really understand you, because it's like, you're just choosing to think for yourself is really what it comes down to, versus like taking someone else's word for it. So a lot of change, a lot of transformation that you're currently going through, those beings that are drawn to this pile. And so, you know, you're ready to release the blockages and the resistance to doing so. Because I feel like sometimes we think that, oh, I'm transforming, so the things that I really like in my life won't be able to stay. That's not how it works. It's the things that were never really meant for you, or that I shouldn't say meant for you, because we're always learning from whatever is in our experience. If it's happening, it's meant to happen. But, you know, there's more relevant things for you. You're at a point to where it's like, you're in tight shoes, right? You've outworn the shoes that you're in. They've served its purpose, and now it's time to move on, and trusting where you're guided and the people that you're guided to let go of, and at the very least put a pause, you know, because they could transform and catch up to you, who knows. But at this point in time, you know, things are going to be moving quickly for you, okay? And some fated people and relationships are coming into your experience. They want to come into your experience. And so make space, all right? I'm going to leave this reading here for now. If this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to your heart, please give this video a thumbs up. Maybe comment something down below. Comment any synchronicities that came through for you. It does help other people receive these messages when and if they need them. And I do hope to see you on my channel again soon. Much love. Hi, pile number 3. If you guys chose the Modern Witch Hanged Man, this is your reading. This is for clarification as the reading goes on. I haven't looked at any of your cards yet. We're going to do all of this real time together. So let's jump right into it. What it is that you are ready to release, pile number 3. We have Dream and Journey with Drum. Oracle, wait for important information. Deception and Envy. The Waiting Game. Okay, so right away, releasing impatience is a very strong message that's coming through. Okay, so this could have to do with your career or your dreams. Okay, so, you know, seeing things more as a journey, this journey that you are on. Okay, so maybe there's like other people, you're recognizing other people gain success in a certain area that maybe you want to, or that you feel like you should be. You know, I'm getting a sense of someone that's like, you know, why is this person A, B, C, and D? Like, you know, this is just like so average, you know. I feel like you guys have maybe, you know, really good access and connection to, you know, a unique soul stream. And this is just a reminder that's coming through right now that like, sometimes people are so ahead of their games and so ahead of, you know, their generation that people don't recognize a good thing until it's like gone, or until like, I don't know, you just might be far ahead of your time is what I'm saying. Okay. And so you might be seeing other people win in certain areas that you want to win in. And it's like, there's reasons and seasons. Okay. And it's a journey, you know, journeys aren't all about winning all the time or getting to the end. You know, it's about honoring all of the steps along the way. And so there might be a sense of impatience and like, why are other people, you know, seeming to have it, you know, get it. Yeah. Why does it seem like other people why does it seem like easier or something for other people? So we have co-create, not for you. Yes. This is like, I'm not surprised this card is coming up, because this is like it. It's like, I'm done waiting on the sidelines. Like, it's like, this is a card of watching the game happen and wanting to be like a co-creator of the game. Okay. And so, you know, that's, or wanting to be an active player in the game, you know, and it's like, why am I being denied? But, you know, divine rejection is divine redirection, divine protection. Okay. And so it's like, this is like, continue to do your thing. All right. And it's not just about you. There's other aspects. There's other key players that might not be ready yet to meet you or to like create with you. This is just really a strong reminder here of releasing your ideas of why things are or are not happening on your time frame, because it's sucking the joy out of life. Okay. Even in the smallest ways, it's sucking the joy out of life and what you could be, you know, the degrees of happiness and fulfillment that you could be experiencing now. And honestly, I feel like sometimes that's the lesson. It's not about what am I doing wrong, or like, why are other people getting it? It's like, well, maybe they have just they've already integrated a lesson of, you know, it's about the journey and the enjoyment. And also remembering that you don't know what the fuck their lessons are. You know, you don't know what their karma is. You don't know how many lifetimes they've been working for something. And so releasing your ideas of these things, and, you know, that could just be, there's many different layers to why things happen under certain time frames and why they do and they don't. Okay. And it's not always up to us. Freedom. Yeah. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. And authority. So yeah, you're freeing yourself from it's like living as if you were already in that timeline as much as you can. And I know sometimes that's like, can be, I don't know, regurgitated or seem like, it can be frustrating to hear shit like that when it's like, but I'm trying so hard and, you know, I don't want to hear that. And I want to be there already. I want to experience greater amounts of freedom, but this is freedom and perception comes first. All right. Freedom in your own narratives comes first. Understanding, again, there's a sense of deeply trusting your own journey. And, you know, maybe there's just some blockages that you're experiencing because Spirit is wanting to reframe what is the most important part of any journey, right? And what's the most important part of this journey that pile number 3 is on specifically at this time? You know, it's what's going to set me free. And so if like things start to happen for you too soon before you've actually developed that state of autonomy and not needing validation, not needing, you know, not attaching your sense of value to numbers and to like other people's ideas of success and other people's validation, then, you know, if those scales haven't tipped and you're currently like being reinforced under those paradigms, it's only going to strengthen that sense of like feeling shackled. Okay. Because then, you know, if something else comes along or you're meant to change, you might be so attached to getting that validation. So this is like, find freedom in the pause, right? While you're waiting, like have the most amount of fun. And, you know, there's a lot here about, just trusting the journey, man. You know, just trusting the journey. I don't know when we got so like uptight about things needing to happen on our own time frame. You know, it's like trusting your higher self, knowing that your higher self has your back and you don't want to rush things. Like everything has a gestation period. In order for it to be successful and healthy, you know, if it has to have a gestation period, you have to honor that gestation period. That's part of what it means to be on earth at this time. All right, so let's get more information about what it is you're ready to release. Yeah, there's a sense of like not forcing things to happen. If it's not, you know, Some of you guys might be like doing too many like tarot readings or something too. And so there's a sense of needing to trust yourself about something, about a situation, maybe about situations in general with both of these 9 cards and this authority card, like being self-sourced. Okay. Like not looking outside of you so much. This could also be saying for some of you guys aren't like allowing enough joy into your life. All right. There's like freedom and like new directions to go. And how much are you giving yourself permission to go out and meet new people and to go on different adventures? Because there's a big part of like maybe even a new direction that wants to be born, or like a new idea wants to come through. But it's like because you're just marinating in this energy that you've always been in, or that you've been in for some time, it's like it doesn't leave room for like the walls that are currently housing your current state of consciousness to be broken down. You know, that's things like certain plant medicines can help to do that. There's a lot here about just like, you know, there's a lot of symbology that I'm seeing here about breaking down the walls of your consciousness. Okay. That it's housed in, and whatever way that you're guided to do that, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying anything. You're like, I'm not saying go eat some mushrooms and go on a hike, but you know, if you're guided to do that, then, you know, that's you, that's between you and your higher self. But there's something to be said here about, you know, with this freedom and the 3 of Wands, I am getting this sense that you might be just like trying to make something happen too much, you know, and not enjoying your life. And that's like not the point, especially of the people that are drawn to my channel. That's not the point. Like, that's not the point, you know, it's not to just like make things happen. Yeah, sure. That's fun. But it's about how do I have the most amount of freedom? You know, how can I like allow my authentic soul stream to like pour through? What are those things that you do that you kind of lose track of time? And you know, those things, when you're in that state, when you're losing track of time and you're really connecting to yourself in whatever ways feels organic and authentic for you to do so, that's when like you have the most epiphanies and the most amount of breakthroughs, and actually stuff feels like it's moving quicker. Even if it seems like nothing has really changed externally, internally things are speeding up. And so that's kind of our confirmation, that in our just reminder that it's not so much about what's happening outside of us, but it's like that internal alchemization, you know, and becoming a little bit more free in our awareness, a little bit more free. So we're just like becoming a little bit, you know, we're restabilizing a little bit by a little bit, you know. And I feel like a big part of you guys, you want to be self-sufficient. I see that, you know, you want to give back to other people. You want to be able to take care of your family and the people that you love. And I feel like you guys are really hard workers and, you know, want freedom. You are on the path of freedom. You know, this is about like the ways that you deceive your own self too, that you try to convince yourself that you're not doing enough, that you could be doing more, that other people are doing better than you. Like, that's not a thing. You know, we just have adopted so many non-serving like narratives as a species. It's like our language has brought us past the point of practicality and into insanity. Okay. And so this is like really recognizing that you're on the right path, and that you haven't been denied things because you're a bad person. You know, that's another way that we have attached human qualities to the divine. It doesn't work like that. It's a very non-personal journey. It's a very non-personal how a source works. However, when we are really aligned to our soul stream and what it is that we're here for, when we're looking only within to decide how to navigate the without, that's when things just seem to happen. That's when it seems like good things happen for me. Must be a good person. No, it's just like you're honoring your highest integrity, because you know by doing so, you're locking into your soul stream, and it's only by locking into your soul stream that you feel free. But it's only when you start to, you know, go against yourself by taking someone else's word for it, and by, you know, continuing to utilize like divination tools and, you know, consistently like seeking versus just being okay with what is and going within yourself. You know, it's like the more it's just original sin is just going against yourself. It's crimes against your own wisdom, right? That's one of the root causes of disease, according to Ayurveda, which it has been around on this planet for over 5,000 years, right? It's like a holistic remedy. It's a holistic approach to health. So spiritual well-being as well as physical, etc. You know, so it's, you know, one of the 3 root causes of disease is crimes against your better wisdom. So when you know you should do something, or when it's like you feel like you should do this and you don't, that's a crime against your wisdom. Or when you feel like I should not do this, but you do, that's a crime against your wisdom. You're not punished, but it's like you just went outside of your integrity. Okay. And so you don't feel free when you do that. You feel free when you know you're doing the right thing is for the right reasons. Not that there is a right or wrong, but it's like what's right for you. Okay, you're releasing blockages to that. And there's a lot here about getting out of your own way and releasing timelines and just having more fun, enjoying the process of transformation, because you are on your path. It's like you're almost deceiving how far you've actually come. Okay, there's ideas that you're not where you're supposed to be, and it's like you're exactly where you're meant to be. There's new adventures on the horizon, and I feel like it's just, like, again, for the people that are drawn to my channel, like, the external success is inevitable, but it's, you guys are at a point of advancement where it's much more about the spiritual mastery, the internal mastery, internal alchemization. Okay, so things are happening for you. It's just important to like honor your timeline and to not rush the process. You can't rush good things, right? You don't want to rush something good, because by the time you get the amount of power, recognition, or whatever it is that you're here to create, it's like with great power comes great responsibility, and you want to be at a place to where, you know, I was saying I had to pause earlier because my daughter needed to use the restroom, but it's like if you're on this path and you're doing things for like validation and recognition, you know, and there comes to a point to where, and you get so addicted to that, it's like if spirit is then trying to move you in a direction that is even more free, but you are so attached to that validation and recognition, it's like you're not going to leave. And you're going to end up in a place 10 years later that you're like, what the fuck? This is not who I am. Like, this is like so draining. This is not it. Right. But if you're at a place to where you've already cultivated the freedom within yourself and the perspective that it's not about that, and you are like, I'm going to do me regardless because that's where I feel the most free, then you're going to be much more flexible when these changes come, and you're not so attached. Attachment's lead to suffering, right? Expectations not aligning with how things are, the truth of how things are meant to be for us, is where suffering is caused, right? And so you're on a path of true freedom. So trust the journey, trust the process. You're where you're meant to be, okay? I'm going to leave this reading here for now. If this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to your heart, please leave a comment down below. It does help my channel reach more people that need these messages, if and when they need them. And like this video, please. It also helps do that. And I do hope to see you on my channel again soon. Much love. Hi, group 4. Welcome to your reading for what it is that you are currently ready to release. I have already shuffled the Hanged Man back in here. This is the Relative Tarot deck. I've shuffled it back in. I haven't looked at any of your cards yet. We're going to do this real time together, okay? So let's get right into it. What are you ready to release? Pile number 4. We have the Sun, enjoy success and happiness. We have Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. We have Destiny. And we have Spiritual Union. This is very beautiful energy. Yeah, there's nothing to prove, okay? There's nothing to prove, pile number 4. And your need, or in this idea that you have something to prove to anyone, I feel like it's eating away your peace, okay? You're on your right path. You're where you're supposed to be. And it's not, no one needs to be on board with that, you know? There's no one that needs to be on board with who it is that you came here to be and what it is that you're exploring and how it is that you're supposed to be exploring that. Yeah, let's get a little bit deeper. A leg up. This is trusting other people, okay? Letting go, like this pride that you might have. Yeah, because I get Leo energy with the Sun. So letting go of any pride that you might have of letting other people help you, working with other people, reaching out to other people that, you know, very clearly are a part of your, you know, destiny and a part of your soul tribe and a part of your mission here on Earth at this time. Orphaned. Health. And look through the situation. It's tarot cards. Now there's a sense here of denying there's a sense of denying part of your path or something that is very clearly part of your path. There's almost like a fear here of the success that you're welcoming in. I'm getting the sense of, with the let go of the need to be right, it's like letting go of, you know, that part of yourself that is keeping the success away, you know? Yeah, I feel like there's part of you that you've kind of orphaned. Yeah, it's releasing the parts of yourself that denies good things that come to you. It's like maybe like there's a sense of self-sabotage that happens when things start to get good for you, when you like meet people, have relationships, like new sparks of romance. It's like almost like yeah, that old paradigm trying to like reassert itself consistently rather than like letting yourself be surprised. Okay, and if you're used to like not being understood, or you've been used to being bullied, or, you know, it's so interesting. Sometimes I'll catch myself like about to ruin something good, or about to just like, you know, have like those old thoughts. Like thoughts can just be so intrusive and so like nonsensical and not true. They can just be so not true. And it's like sometimes when we take space from certain things, it's like those old narratives try to sneak in no matter how much progress we've actually made. And it's like, don't spend time with that person, you know, like it's just like, it's so sneaky. Thought forms can be so sneaky. And then you get back around that person and things are good. And you realize how much it was just your old narratives, just kind of like trying to be intrusive, you know, rather than just like, it's like those old narratives can't just let you be. They can't just let you enjoy what's now and how much goodness is actually in your experience. And, you know, like you can't just allow yourself to enjoy being locked into your destiny, you know? Yeah, this is very interesting. There's a sense of like holistic health, like mental health here that's coming through. And, you know, trusting your heart more than you are the mind, right? Yeah, let's get a little bit deeper with what's going on. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, that goes hand in hand with this orphaned energy. 4 of Pentacles. Keeping your heart close. 2 of Swords. The Star. Let's get one more. There's something here about health that you guys might be worried about, that I feel like there's a part of you that maybe has forgotten that a big part of these things is about like your belief systems. And I know sometimes that can be very ungrounded, and there's so many different reasons why we can have certain like illnesses and things, but you know, it has been a lot of research and things to back up like the nocebo effect and the placebo effect. If you think something bad's going to happen, it probably will. And if you think something good's going to happen, it probably will. It doesn't work like that all the time. You know, there's so many layers to these types of things, but there is something to be said that, you know, that those are things that have been studied and confirmed. And so there's something here about your health that you might be like reinforcing because you have a belief system, or, you know, someone gave you a label at one point about a condition. And so you're so attached to it that you can't let yourself be proven wrong about it. You can't let spirit show you that there's a different way to go about something, that there's a different way of understanding something. There's a different way to holistically heal something. Okay. Yeah. Because we have the Star, we have health, we have look through the situation. There's a sense here of stubbornness with strength and then letting go this need to be right. And I do feel like a big part of just what you're releasing is the blockages you have into stepping into your light, into stepping more into your power. Again, more of this Leo energy that's coming through. The thing about that energy and the energy of this Strength card is like, it's really good in terms of perseverance, but it can also not know when it's like fighting for a lost cause. And I feel like this fighting for a lost cause is, again, needing to get really like become much more aware of this narrative that you have. You know, that's been a theme in all of these readings, and I'm really not surprised. I really don't know what's in the air. Maybe it's because, you know, we're in Gemini season as I'm filming this, when I'm filming this, and there's a lot of like that kind of polarization of mind, that intensity of mind, you know, filled, you know, backed with a Jupiter in Aries. You know, there's a lot of just like almost impulsivity of thought, and really just taking every thought that comes into our awareness at face value versus questioning it. You know, and I feel like this need to be right that is this orphaned part of yourself that doesn't trust life and feels like it's been left out in the cold, and it needs to hold its cards close to its chest, and is afraid of taking risks, you know, is afraid of taking a short-term risks for long-term potential payoff, right? And so it's this old version, this old echo of your past that's like, you know, really wanting to be right, you know, like really wanting to confirm, like seeking out evidence left and right that its deepest fears are true. And it's really blocking your ability to experience and to see how far you've actually come, and to welcome in even more success, and to lock in to your destiny timeline even to a greater amount, you know, because I feel like there, again, is some self-sabotaging tendencies in relationships that I'm seeing, and in and allowing those partnerships to flourish. You know, it's like this old sense, this weird idea that we have as a species that if it's really love, then there's a certain degree of toxicity. And while I don't think everything is going to be perfect and we deepen our bonds through adversity, you know, this is like being very mindful of like the directions you're choosing. Is it because you're choosing safety and you're choosing, again, you're leaning more towards that old narrative and that smaller version of yourself wanting to be right, the ego wanting to be right? Or are you choosing the healing and the perseverance? And man, it is like, it takes so much energy to really start developing the willpower and the Shakti. That's another way of saying energy and willpower, in order to change these like deeply ingrained narratives. Okay. your brain has created certain neural pathways that are really comfortable and familiar with each other. Even when they're not serving, even when it's so clear and so obvious that something is not serving, there's some sort of payoff that you're currently getting from being in this mindset and this energy of, oh, it's not working out for me, or I can't get beyond this health thing, or just feeling worried about, health or something, how things work. This could also be symbolic for the fact of things aren't always as they appear, and it's like, it takes a lot to break through what we have developed so deeply. Those neural networks, those neural pathways are ways of the ways that our paradigms have been solidified just by our belief systems. Okay. And I just am feeling that there's a lot of light that is wanting to come through, and it might be a little bit scary and a little bit fearful, because as you start to step more into your destiny path, into more of your light, I feel like things might be coming to the surface that make you a bit uncomfortable, and that are making you question yourself and question the decisions that you've made, and kind of bringing up this old wounding from the past. But the brighter you shine, the more light you welcome in, the more darkness is exposed. It goes hand in hand. And so sometimes I feel like people can run away from that and think that they're doing something wrong, and forget that, it takes work. That's the perseverance. That's the strength, is that, it takes a lot of willpower and a deep sense of spiritual awareness and Shakti to be able to see these things come up and to just observe them and to not attach a narrative. That is the mark of a master, is no matter what's happening, you're just observing it, and you're not attaching any sense of ideas around why things are happening, because there's a lot, I feel, about certain narratives that you are reinforcing, certain narratives that continue to come up. When these old energies come up, you're like, oh, this is because A, B, C, and D. And it's no. It's, while yes, there could have been an energetic imprint because of A, B, C, and D, you don't have to make it mean anything. Those narratives and those stories, it's good to honor them when we're on that healing journey, but by continuing to reiterate that this was the cause and now this is the effect, you have just solidified yourself within a paradigm that is maybe not fully how things are, and maybe kind of blocking your ability to, heal spiritually, mentally, emotionally, not leaving space to be surprised, not leaving space to see things differently, because it really is, that power of belief is no joke. Okay. And so I feel like there, something here too about, things are changing. Things are actually looking up, despite what it is that you might think, and to not be fooled after appearances. Don't judge after appearances. Things are working out, but regardless of what might currently be being shown to you. Okay. And that's part of looking through the situation, looking through whatever this health challenge is, whatever this mental challenge is, whatever these fears are. They might not even be real, but this is saying that I feel like part of your health could be suffering. You could just be suffering because of all of this anxiety that's in your field, and worry about how you're going to make it and if things are going to work out, and holding on so tightly to these old things, letting go the need to be right, just as much as you can, finding a sense of peace. The way that we break through karma, and the way that we really allow a new energy in it to be born, and to invite more grace, and to invite more fulfillment and peace and greater relationships, is by, you have to find something that helps you break that feedback loop of insanity, because it's just becomes so repetitive and these thoughts are so fucking useless. And so, whatever it is for you, whether it's I recommend, Kundalini yoga, or breath work, something that when you're feeling the most intense is when it's the most important to break that cycle where it stands, or you're just going to deepen yourself into this karma. Okay. But there's so much happiness and there's so much joy that I feel is already in your experience. But maybe right now, when you guys are drawn to this, it's just there's a lot of, you guys are naturally really bright and very warm and very optimistic. But right now, I just feel you guys are going through purges, deep purges. Okay. And I don't know what's in the air, because this is really a theme in its own way that I've noticed in very many readings. Okay. Personal readings and collective readings. And so, there's something else, there's something more to this. Okay. And what you believe about it is either going to shackle you to greater suffering. It's reinforcing the illusion, right? Is this reinforcing illusion, or is this bringing you closer to truth? And truth always feels good. It doesn't mean you're denying, you're burying your head, because sometimes, it just feels good when you're moving towards truth because you're not taking it so seriously. And you're like, this is what I'm here to learn. This is what I'm exploring. So you can still have that sense of like responsibility and accountability. That's not what it means. But there's a sense of lightness about it because you're like, oh yeah, this is school. Class is in session. I'm learning something and I'm here today and I'm gone tomorrow. How can I have the most amount of fun? If you're believing in your thoughts to any degree, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, you're not having fun. And it's about, again, developing that spiritual strength of just being the witness. And through there, you'll be guided to those things that are more harmonious for where you're at. And you'll see how it was all just a story you were telling yourself. And you'll be grateful for the journey, at the end of it, because it really is our suffering that catalyzes us on the path to freedom. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now, my friends. If this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to your heart, please leave me a comment down below. It really helps other people receive these messages when and if they need them. Please like this video as well. And I do hope to see you on my channel again soon. Much love.